Yes, welcome, everyone. So, as you know, today we will be discussing a story in regards to a person who is actually a friend of mine and also a client of mine. And so, I want to start off first with our commercial. So, we got the first t shirt commercial with the brother Shaka. Let's go. Yeah, shout out to the brother Shaka. If you're interested in any of those t-shirts, you see his email is there, so be sure to reach out to him. They're good quality t-shirts. And of course, my commercial, which is Bliss Love Tea. So we'll do this one.
When you smile, I'm enchanted. When you kiss me, I can't stand it. I'm in paradise. Your touch is just like satin. Girl, you make my whole life happen. When I look into your eyes.
Yes. Be sure to get some of that tea. That is tea to cause you to be more empathic, more compassionate, more loving, more nurturing for yourself and also for others. As you know, today is Akoma Love Day, Black Melanin Love. But some people may be celebrating Valentine's Day, and I don't judge. So, whatever you guys want to call it, however you want to celebrate it, whatever you want to do, I'm perfectly okay with that. As long as you are celebrating love this week, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. As long as you are being nurturing and careful and cautious with your person and expressing your true thoughts and your love energy and haltering that energy and holding it and manifesting what you want. Guys, this is the perfect week to manifest what you're trying to manifest. And I don't care what it is you're trying to manifest. If you're trying to manifest money, love, a job, a car, a house, perfect week because the energy of love is in the air everywhere. So it's within you, it's within the people around you, it's everywhere. So you can siphon that energy from the atmosphere, from the etheric atmosphere, from the essence and energy that's flowing around and use that to do something or create something that you're interested in creating. If you know how to pull that energy in and harness and create something, then that's certainly something I recommend. So, today, I have a story of a person who is a client and a friend. And he recommended that I start at that time on this day. So that was his choice. He also requested that I do not provide his real name, and I'm not going to do that, nor am I going to provide his real photo. So as you can see, I created a photo that I thought was close to what he looks like. And this is the photo. So the only difference is, I believe this man, he's representing Haiti. So my friend is half Haitian. So he's half Haitian and half American. He has locks, just like this brother here. His locks are long, like this brother. He is working out. His complexion is darker than this young man here. So imagine a man who is darker. He doesn't have the, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that a 6-pack? He doesn't have the 6-pack yet. I'd say he has more of a 4-pack. He's working out, and he's on his journey. So I just wanted to give you a visual description of him as he is right now, as I know him. And I'm gonna create a name, and I'm gonna just call him Isaiah. His name is not Isaiah, but I'm gonna call him Isaiah. So I met Isaiah last year at a financial event. One of the young ladies who's my friend, hey, let me introduce you to someone. So she introduced me to him, and he was sort of, he was quiet, he was soft spoken, he was shy, he was very shy. And we were talking, and he had all these ideas in his head. He had all this creativity that he wanted to get going on. And I was like, well, wow, how are you going to do this? How are you going to manifest this? And he was like, I don't know. I have no idea whatsoever. And I said, well, it's great ideas. You can go ahead, you can get started. I think you should move forward and, set goals to do whatever it is you need to do. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And that was my first time meeting him. I didn't stay in touch with him over the year. I saw him the next year at the same event, right? So he did express to me, though, that he was in a relationship with his children's mother. He has one son, and this relationship was a very difficult relationship for him. And he wanted to recover from that relationship with his children's mother before he went on to another relationship with any woman. So he started fasting. He started working out. No more burgers, no more steaks. And when I saw him, he was kind of chunky, and he wasn't necessarily attractive to a lot of the women there. And he had a regular day job, 9 to 5, with a regular paycheck, living check to check, right? So, and he was overweight, and he was shy. He wasn't outspoken. So the women weren't really, interested in him. And even my girlfriend who introduced me to him was kind of like, yeah, this is so-and-so, this is Isaiah. He's, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy, but not the kind of guy that you want to date, kind of energy going on, right, at this event. And at the same event, the room was filled. It was like billions of dollars in the room, y'all. And everyone in the room was melanated brothers and sisters. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Soul Flow, Yoga London, Abby. What's up, Abby? Nice to see you. So we're at this event, and the room is full of men who, it's a lot of money in that room, and a lot of men who have already proven themselves. And here he is, Isaiah, sort of like young, shy, and, I was going to say young. He's not young. He's, I'd say he's in his 40s, but he's just getting started. So he wanted to change. He has this terrible relationship with this, his baby's mother, but he didn't hate on her. That's one thing I admire about him. He didn't say anything. He just said it was a bad relationship. He noted he needed to heal. He didn't want to walk into another relationship with that type of energy attached to him. So he began to fast. He started praying. He stopped eating burgers, because he was eating burgers, steak, macaroni and cheese, all of that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And that's probably why he was overweight. So he started working out. He started praying more. At first, he did tell me that he thought prayer was more for women as opposed to men. But he learned that prayer is perfectly fine for men. There's nothing wrong with asking for your ancestors or guides to assist you on your journey. So he began to pray more. His locks, when I first met him, his locks were a little unkempt, a little messy, kind of like he wasn't really doing it all the time. So he started to take better care of his locks. And when I saw him again, locks were very, very neat. So he basically started to maintain himself, even his beard. He had some type of beard kit where they would put like a cream or something on the beard and maintain it. And I was like, okay. He had some friends who were negative. He avoided those negative friends. He had some family members who he told me were a little bit on the crazy side, and he got rid of those family members. He started attending events. He started attending these healthy eating events. He found out that there was an epidemic of Black men where they were going through like some type of mental psychosis, some type of mental illness. And I didn't even know that. He shared that with me. He said, did you know there was an epidemic amongst Black men where they are suffering? And I was just like, I didn't know. So he started to attend all of these events about men's health, mental health, emotional health, physical health. And I was like, wow, hanging out with the right guys. He was going to the gym. The guys at the gym were embracing him. They were like showing him how to use the workout machines, how to adjust his diet, different techniques in terms of eating and losing weight. He also learned how to invest his money, because his mentality was no woman wants to be with a man who can't manage his money. So he was taking investment classes and investment courses on how to move his money, how to invest, how to start a business, how to like classes on how to meditate. None of this stuff he was doing when I met him. He prayed for his son's mother, which I thought was very interesting, because he prayed that she would find a way to heal and become a better person. Because from what he was telling me, this is his son's mother. And so if she's going to be taking care of his child, then she needs to be the best person that she could possibly be. So he not only prayed for himself, he prayed for her, and he prayed for her son. So that's what it was like when I met him, and then he went through this journey. And I guess he just had to learn how to be himself. He had to learn how to take care of himself, how to nurture himself, how to love himself, and how to just manage things so that when he go into a relationship, everything would be better. So now I told you he is half Haitian and he is half American. So he does speak Creole. He does speak French. And he is sort of like, he's very friendly, but he's not really like a social butterfly. So when my girlfriend introduced him, she was like, yeah, this is so-and-so. And then she just left. It was like, she wasn't really intrigued by him. And I was just like, oh, this is so interesting. But I like to be the person to be curious and to inquire about people and their journey. So he opened up to me and he spoke to me, and I enjoyed the conversation. Look, the journey of self-healing. Exactly. The journey of self-healing. So he didn't know about that, though. He never heard about that when he was with his children's mother. And he realized when he started the journey of self-healing that both of them were broken. Both of them were in a relationship and they both were broken. And it's funny because he didn't blame her, like everything on her in a relationship. Everything was not like, oh, it's all her fault. It was like part of it was his fault. He realized it was a very, very toxic relationship. However, he said stepping back, he wanted to do better, and she did not. And so for that aspect, he was like, well, is she the right person for me moving forward? And he was like, no. So once he decided to leave her and break up with her, that's when all hell broke loose. Because he had the paycheck. And of course, she didn't want him to leave with the paycheck. And obviously, she has some healing to do. He admitted that. So he works in a bank, in the financial industry. He also, besides him doing the self-healing, he decided to be celibate, which I was like, woo, okay, man. So y'all, he fasting, he praying, he going to the gym, and he's celibate. He's dressing better because he lost weight. So he had to get clothing that fit him better. Because when I saw him, he was wearing clothes that were baggy and he was already a large guy. And I don't understand the logic in that, but I guess he figured maybe it would look better on him. So he lost weight. He got new clothing. He was, making sure his hair was kempt. Yo, this brother was even dry brushing his skin, because he learned from the other brothers at the gym that the dead skin, as you're fasting and doing all this working out, is changing, and something about it was going to be sagging. So he was dry brushing the skin. When I tell you the level of maintenance that he was doing to himself was amazing. So we swing around. He's doing all of this for a whole year, right? We swing around. We come back to the conference because this is a yearly financial conference. And like I said, we got millionaires and billionaires in the house, right? This brother walks through the door and intense glow. What's up, Cynthia? How you doing, my love? We are all glowing up in here. Yes, my love. Yes. So the year comes around and we go back to the same conference, right? And So it's me and my girlfriend, because we go every year, and we look at him. We were like, this Isaiah? A whole different person walks through the door. Like his aura, his essence, his energy. I don't even know how to really describe it, because I had to ask him, what have you done to yourself? Besides, it was clear that he lost weight. It was clear that his clothes were fitting him better, that he took better care of himself. But it was something else that was going on that was very, very noticeable. So he made his way around the room, because he's very quiet. He's soft spoken, shaking hands, how y'all doing? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then he gets to me and my girlfriend, right? And as he's walking towards us, the same girlfriend who introduced me last year, who act like, I'm not really interested in him. I'm more interested in these other, characters. When he was walking towards us, she was like, She said, "Oh, Isaiah he's looking kind of good. What's going on?" And I was like, I said, "Okay, now." His whole energy changed till these women at the conference were very attracted to him. So he comes over and he's all excited. He's like, "Bliss, guess what?" I was like, "Yo, what's good? I haven't seen you in a long time. You look really good. How are you doing?" He says, "I pulled a deal for 1.6 million." I almost fell on the floor right then and there. Abby, you know how these women are. They want the cream of the crop, the best of them all, and they're not considering a brother like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I kid you not. She was like, he looking kind of good. I was like, what? What's going on here? Anyway, so he comes over. And so as he's, everybody's like, "How are you doing? Any deals going on? Any, what's going on in your life? How's the children? How's the wife?" That kind of talk. How's the job, if you have one? So he comes over and, he's talking, he's shaking hands and everything. And he speaks about this deal that he just got was for $1.6 million. Now, remember last year when I spoke to him, he had a regular 9 to 5. And he was living paycheck to paycheck. And I was just like, what in the world? I was like, that's beautiful news. That's great. And he's telling everybody, because everybody's congratulating him. They thought it was great. It's wonderful to see someone who is growing and they're being successful and they're reaching their endeavors and they're accomplishing their goals. And how could you not like pat a brother on the back who's leveling up like that, And so this is a big freaking deal. Not many people coming in there on their first opportunity pulling in a $1.6 million deal. So with that said, everyone's in there, we're all talking the lingo, the terminology, and you're supposed to share this information. So there were 2 other women there. Now here's where it gets a little wonky. So the 2 other women, I don't know if they knew him or not, but they definitely recognized him. And because he was the guy in the room, he was the black guy, because it's all black people in the room, by the way. But he was the guy in the room who pulled this large deal, who was suddenly looking attractive. And so I don't know how to describe it. So these 2 women, they decided to try to, I guess, get with him. So it was like a little bit of a competition. They found out about him, how successful he was. They noticed that he changed his whole physique, his whole persona. He was even more confident. But remember, y'all, I happen to know that he's celibate. Now, that is the one thing he didn't tell anyone, right? So I guess these women must have assumed, hey, this brother must be laying it down and must be ready to lay it down. And I got the best cootie cat in the town. Because that's the way some women think. But I knew, and my girlfriend who was there didn't even know, because he's a client of mine. I knew that he was praying, that he was fasting, that he's working out, that he was healing from trauma from a previous relationship with a woman, and that he was also celibate. And he wasn't looking for no woman at that time. He wanted to make sure he was right for the next woman that came along. So these 2 women, they wanted to pursue him. They decided that they wanted to date him. And so they would do things like pop up with food to offer him. And they weren't even cooking vegan food or healthy food. Like, they were popping up with food that he used to eat. So remember I told you he's so nice and he's so like gentle and soft spoken. He would take the food and throw the food away. And I told him, I said, no, you need to educate them and let them know that you don't eat that type of food anymore and that you're on a journey for health. Like, why, because he was still healing. So when you're on a healing journey, you don't always, you're not always that person. Like, so you're like, you're here and you're on your way to your journey. You're not up here yet. So you still kind of co-sign some of the bullshit that go on without telling people what you truly feel or what you're going through or what you want and what you expect. So he would just take it, whatever. He didn't tell them that he was celibate. He didn't express any of this to the women. So they still steady going for it. Oh, what gym do you go to? Suddenly showing up at the gym that he was at. Now get this. This brother lives in New Jersey. One of the sisters live in New York. How is it a coincidence you end up at the gym in New Jersey? It was just obvious. But remember, he's going to the gym with a lot of other men who are showing him how to use certain items or weights or whatever to work out and supporting him and, rah him on. And here go this heifer walking up with the craziest gym outfit. When you go to the gym, you see some of those women and the outfits are so sexy and so crazy. So she's trying to socialize with him, but he's trying to focus on working out because that's what he's there to do. He's there to focus on being a better person overall, physically, emotionally, mentally. He's also focusing on meeting new friends, so he's building or whatever. And he noticed that these women, they kept pursuing him and coming around him and doing all these things for him. And he never had women do that. To women to show up and cook for him or, oh, would you like some coffee or whatever? And he wasn't even drinking coffee. But like I said, he didn't share anything with them. Women who were like, oh, do you need a massage? Just so you're working out. I know your muscles may be sore. He never had women do this for him or attracted to him like this. And so I think something within him was take it and accept it because he never truly received that before. And maybe these women were kind of they knew how to play this game. So they were doing all types of stuff to try to attract this brother and to get to him. And I know because he's my client, he struggled a little bit with low self-esteem. And this low self-esteem comes from women not being attracted to him for a number of reasons, who knows. And he didn't have confidence with himself. He didn't believe in himself. So he was flattered to have these women come in and be this way. So one day, right? So he's half Haitian, half American. One day, he goes to visit his Haitian grandmother, right? Now, he don't know these women are also doing spell work on him. That's how persistent they were because they were doing this for a long period of time and he didn't pursue them sexually. So over time, the women was like, either he's gay or he's got a woman and we don't know about it. So we have to do something because we've been going to the gym and asking him out and bringing him food and one of them bought him a tie because he wears suits because he works at a bank. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on here? So they thought he would eventually pursue one of them and ask them out. And then that would be their man. But he didn't do it. He was so disciplined, so focused. And I was just like, I was ready to bet money. I said, one of the women is going to get you. One of the women going to trap you. He did not deviate from his goals or his intentions. It was like he had on these horse blinders, right? So they said, okay. So they started to do spell work on him, thinking that was going to be the way that they were ultimately going to get this man. And so he went to visit his Haitian mother. Now, he didn't know they were doing spell work on him. He went to visit his Haitian mother. Shout out to my Haitian family. Sapaseo Mabule. Yes, love my Haitian family. So y'all know I'm part Haitian too. So anyway, so he goes and she saw the two women around him. So when he walked into the grandmother's house, the women were not physically there because his grandmother is what I guess in America, what one would call a seer. Like she could see spirits or see things going on. It's difficult to describe, but some of y'all might know what I'm talking about. So the grandmother knew something was wrong. Oh, wait, hold on. Shout out to Cynthia. Here she go. Yes. So she knew that these two women were doing something to her grandson, that they were doing spell work or rituals to try to trap her son. What? Hold on. Their aura was about him. Yeah, everything. These women were all over him, all whatever they had to do. And meanwhile, he's working a full-time job. He's trying to get more deals and everything. He's focusing on himself. These women were gunning for him. They were doing all time. The grandmother, as soon as he walked in, she looked at him and she noticed these two women. And the grandmother was so mad. Yo, you don't mess with nobody's grandchildren. Because them grandparents, I've heard so many stories where them grandparents have been kicking butt in the spirit realm. Oh, they don't have to. See, that's the thing. We all think, oh, it's physical. Some of these grandparents can go into the spirit realm and they're kicking ass for their grandchildren. So I was like, So the grandmother was like, these women are low vibrational, that they had nothing to truly offer her grandson, that they actually, some of them had demons on them, and that they didn't properly take care of their own children because they were too busy messing with him. Yeah, these women had babies at home, but they had time to go and pursue him and do all. Yo, I don't know what's wrong with our people. I just don't know. Yes, Ashe. So the grandmother was like, because the women's energy or the aura, the essence was all over him. And so the grandma was reading them. And she was like, oh, they're trying to trap you. And not only that, they tried to block any other women through ritual work to coming towards him. So I'm like, these people are psychotic. Look, did she tell him to get straight? Let me tell you, Abby, this grandmother. Whew, all right, I'm gonna keep going to the story, okay? So she started to like read the women and feel their vibrations, and she knew that her grandson was struggling with like self-esteem and that he had never had women treat him like that. And if you've ever been a man or you have a uncle or a nephew or a son who's never had a woman, women treat them more than one, too. I guess it feels good. It felt good to his soul. So he kind of entertained it when he probably should have just shut it down, but he didn't know. And so the grandmother was like, they have toxic vaginas. Like, I was like the grandmother was reading them. And I was like, how does she know all of this stuff? So she's like, low vibration. They have nothing to offer you. They have they're not of value. They have toxic vagina. They got demons on them, and they didn't properly take care of themselves, let alone any of their children at home. So I said, Lord have mercy. So the grandmother said, okay. Now we're gonna teach these women what spell work is all about. We're gonna really bring it to them. So yes, Abby, she did everything that she could, because this is a grandchild. This is who she loved. And I said, oh my God, this is getting out of hand. This is getting crazy. Woo, y'all. When I tell you the level of the grandmother, and I think because the grandmother was older and she had years of experience with this, so maybe that's why it was so powerful with what she was doing with him, because the women, their spell work wasn't working on him. It wasn't working on him. Nothing they were doing was working on him. And the grandmother was like, let's get it popping. So they did use some of the psychedelic medicine, not the grandmother. So the grandmother, she didn't use the psychedelic medicines, but I was instructed to serve her grandson certain psychedelic medicines to assist him on the journey of learning to protect himself. What saved her first was the celibacy. Yep, I agree, because most men would not have been able to turn down 1 to 2 women just throwing it out. I mean, they might as well just take the panties off and just be like, boom, here you go. So I was surprised at how focused he was, especially since he is not used to women attracted to him like that. So I thought, wow, you're right. He was able to stay celibate and they weren't able to do nothing. So, but man, he was upset to find out. At first, he didn't believe his grandmother because the women were so nice to him. So it's difficult to believe that someone in your face is so nice and behind your back, they got ulterior motives, or that smiling in your face all the time, want to take your place kind of energy. So once I served him the medicine, he was able to travel a little bit in the spirit realm, and he was able to see, and the grandmother was confirming everything. She never took any medicine, y'all, because I think she was on some other level where she didn't require it. And I've heard shamans say that once you take a certain amount of psychedelics, that eventually you don't need it anymore. You can go there on your own and just do what you got to do. So she never took it. So he needed it. And when he saw, he came back, he was so mad. He was speaking Creole. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh no. And he was like, he had like an aggressive tone, and he was pacing back and forth, and he was pissed. And I was like, oh, this is another side of Isaiah that I've never seen before. Like I've never seen him like this before. When I tell you this man had confirmation that these women were doing this, he was like, let's prepare for battle. He was like, I don't care what happens to them. I don't care what becomes of them. It was like a full wrath. So I was like, between him and the grandmother, I didn't know who was going to do more damage. But I thought it was very interesting to observe. And initially, and here's the kicker. Initially, I thought it would be return to them, boom, just like that, right? Do you know they didn't do it that way? They said, no, Bliss. We're not just going to hit them, boom, bang, and knock them out like that, like a Mike Tyson punch. They said, what we're going to do is we're going to do a slow torture. Slowly let their asses fall down and be tortured. So it went on, the torture went on for these women for days, for weeks, and for months. And I was just like, okay, when you think this is a bit much? Like, you think you're doing it too much to these women? And I was like, maybe this is their way of expressing that they love you, but they don't know how to really express it. So they chose to do something that's really stupid. The grandmother and him had no mercy. They were like, this is not a way to express love. You don't do this. You don't try to trap people. You don't try to manipulate people. And you damn sure don't do spell work to get people. So we're talking months of this going on with these women. Guys, when I saw these women, they look terrible. The way they look physically was like something was sucking or draining their energy. Like something was just like whoosh, pulling him into like some type of black hole. And the grandmother was like, I don't even want them to know that we're doing this. I just want them to just gradually deteriorate. So they began to have financial problems, right? Their looks were changing. So their physical look was changing. Crazy, weird stuff was happening to them. One of the women, there's an organization called ACS, or some people call it child welfare. One of the women in child welfare started investigating them. And I was just like out of the blue, someone had to call on you, like, but the women did not connect the dots. They never knew. So it was like a slow torture, like a slow attack on these women. And meanwhile, while they were doing that, they weren't showing up at his house anymore. They weren't showing up at the gym because they had so much going on that they needed to take care of it. It was like they were distracted with their real life. They were distracted with what they should have been taking care of from the beginning. So the looks were changing. The money was deteriorating. They were losing money left and right. The children were not being taken care of to the point where one of them was being investigated. And I was just like, oh my goodness. This happened over time, over months. They were just going down and down and down, and they were losing. They were losing the battle, of which they should have never started it from the beginning. In all honesty, they should have never did it. One of them, I kid you not, it seemed like she was starting to malfunction mentally. Like she was going crazy or something. Hello, what? Generational spiritual protection work, like, yes, generational, exactly. Generational spiritual protection, which is what we all should be doing for our children and for ourselves, because these people out here, they're crazy. They crazy. And I had to ask her, I said, okay, so when are you guys gonna slow down? You're gonna stop? Because these women are going through it and it's affecting their children. So he was like, you know what? They didn't consider how they were affecting me when they were doing it to me. They didn't consider my son when they were doing this to me. They didn't consider my job when they were doing this to me. And I was just like, I said, okay. He said, so we will stop when spirit tells us to stop, whatever that means. I don't really know exactly what he's talking about, but that's what he said, they're going to stop. So these women, they got sick. One of them, it was like she had like some type of mental disorder or psychological disorder. I told him, I said, well, more than likely they resulted to doing spell work on you because of their childhood trauma. You know, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to approach a man. They don't know how to love a man. They don't know how to be in a nurturing, caring, loving relationship, nor do they know how to deal with rejection. So they figured, hey, this is what we're going to do. And that's what they did. So I don't know. Do you think Isaiah and his grandmother went too far? Do you think that what they were doing was right? Because they did everything in the book from, you're right, Abby. He took multiple baths to protect himself. I mean, they were doing all types of magic and spell work. He was using the psychedelics on top of that to assist him with traveling on the different realms and the different dimensions. And the bottom line is the women, I guess they just wanted a man. So do you think it was necessary to go that far? Or do you feel like he went too far? I don't know. All I know is him and grandmother did what they had to do. And so with that said, he wanted me to do this. She gave me permission to do the show. He wanted me to start it at this time that I'm starting on this day. Because he was like, this is the time of love. This is the time when you want to be empathic to one another. You want to be nurturing and caring to one another. And he was like, for people to express their love this way is a form of abuse. It is a form of manipulation. And they're not innocent because these women were in their 40s and they knew exactly what they were doing. So it's more about, he felt like it's more about them trying to control him. And he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. A tad too far, but you know, they brought it on themselves. There you go. They brought it on themselves. And that was his mentality. He was like, well, they started it and I'm going to finish it. And so for that, I don't know if I'm going to see these ladies, because the investment financial event is every summer. So I don't even know if I'm going to see these women show up there because they were doing so bad. Whew. I thought, oh my goodness, he went in on them. And so he asked that I read something. Spirit equals no emotions. Oh, so you think that okay, so to him not to be emotional in it, just do what you got to do. But that's kind of a warrior mentality, right? That's like going into battle. Warriors are like, no emotions. Archangel Michael, if I gotta chop some heads off, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna chop some heads off. And so be it. And I think they were in warrior mode and he was like, I gotta chop some heads off, then that's what I'm gonna do. Abby said, do it. Yes. And that's exactly what they do. He went in, y'all. And then I asked him, I said, well, do you think that women are going to be afraid to date you now that they know you're capable of this? And his response was, He never had any intentions on doing this. And he doesn't have any intentions in the future on doing it with any women, because he's all about loving and nurturing and really building with a woman that's right for him. So draw your line and establish the boundaries. Exactly. But you see, that's the thing. He wasn't establishing boundaries. He was just so nice. And I was like, maybe if you would have set boundaries in the beginning with these trifling heifers, maybe they would not have went this far. But then you never know. People are just crazy these days. People are just crazy. So he said something to me, and I wanted to read it to you because I had to write it down. I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to write this down. And I said, I'm going to read it to the family. And here's what he said to me. He wanted me to read to you guys. He said, I am one in a million. There aren't many men like me. Moving forward, I'm setting the bar for any woman that I date to be high. I'm not putting the bar low for her to step over. She will have to jump just as high as I did in order to reach me. She will need to surrender to me completely for my purpose. I fully intend to watch her and observe her every move, how she carries herself, how she speaks, what she does, if she operates with integrity, and if her morals and values align with mine. And then he said, it's easy to have faith in me when I'm doing well and I'm very successful. But it's the storm that's going to test our relationship. And I only want a great woman who will remain by my side. I need a ride or die chick, not a confused witch. I was like, I like the ending. I need a ride or die chick, not a confused witch. And that's what he said to me. And he feels like he's unique. I mean, I think there are a lot of Black men that are out here like this, but I think he should pat himself on the back because I think it makes him feel better. And you have to believe in yourself. So he was like, yeah, that's what I am. And so there was another thing that I don't know if you guys know who the brother 19 Keys is. There was another thing that 19 Keys said. Look, exactly. A God is looking for a goddess. Exactly. Hold on. A guy who's like, guys, he's working on a goal to look like this. Y'all see this? This is his goal. He's much darker than this brother that's here. This brother's like a caramel color, but he's much darker. His locks are as long as his brother, and they're neat now. They look really, really neat. And he doesn't have the 6-pack. He has more like a 4-pack, I'd say. But he's setting a goal. And he's doing yes, Thunder God Thursday. I told him, I said, look, I got the perfect photo. And so I sent him that photo and I said, are you okay with me using this photo? Because I sent him a couple of photos and I said, I think this one is closer to you. And he was like, yeah, use that one. So that's how we ended up using that old Thunder God. That's an old Thunder God Thursday photo, family, just in case y'all didn't know where that came from. So he's working on goals to put himself in a better position financially, put himself in a better position in terms of a relationship with a woman, emotionally, physically, mentally, psychologically, like on all levels. On top of that, remember, he has a son and he's always going to have to deal with his baby mother. So yes, Thunder God Thursday, y'all. We used to be in the chat rocking with these lovely, beautiful, sensual, very, very, very good looking brothers. Yes, chocolate like him, and some of them even more chocolate, like chocolate drops, y'all, like chocolate drops. Okay. So there was another thing that was said by the brother 19 Keys. I don't know if you guys know who the brother 19 Keys is, but it was something that he said this week, which made a lot of sense because this whole week is about relationships. It's about love, and not only just relationships with your lover. We talk about relationships also with family because you love your family members, right? We're talking about relationships with your friends because you have some friends that you love. Can you bring that back? Okay, I'm gonna run it back. Y'all are a hot mess. Hold on, hold on. Let me run it back. Let me run it back. There you go. So imagine him, but he's a darker complexion, and he don't have the six pack. It's more like a 4-pack. He is half Haitian, so yeah, he can wear the flag. We'll count it for half Haitian. His locks is that length, and his locks look neat like that because he's taking care of himself. Actually, it's funny because his skin. Do you see how his skin is glistening and it's like no dead skin, no dry? His skin looks like that because my friend was dry brushing his skin, honey. He was oiling it and moisturizing it. And I was like, I've never seen a man take care of himself like this. I was like, this is great. I said, you're going to attract the woman that you deserve. You're not going to attract no heifer. You're not going to attract I forgot what his grandmother said. The women were toxic in the womb or toxic vagina or whatever. Exactly. Impact. Exactly. He got the impact. Yo, it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing to see someone working on themselves like that, working as hard as he's working. So this whole week is about relationships with your friends, relationships with your family, relationships with your job, relationships with your lover, but most of all, and most importantly, relationships with yourself, loving yourself, nurturing and taking care of yourself, self-love, self-care. This is something that we all need to do. And I believe as he continued to do this, he's going to attract the right goddess. And I was like, why don't you come on the show? He was like, when he's ready. He's still shy, so I don't know. I can't get him to speak up, but he's just still soft-spoken and shy. He's a very, very good guy. And I'm meeting so many good men out here that it's absolutely amazing. Because when I met him, I thought, is he gonna do what he said he's gonna do? And yo, he went in. And it makes sense now that I double back and I think about it. For him to accomplish all of that in 1 year, it makes sense that he would go in on the spell work like that. Because he's clearly the type of man to be like, you know what? I'm going in. I ain't holding back. And I was like, wow, what kind of husband would that be? What kind of father would that be? And then to be praying for your toxic baby mama, honey. I know some men that ain't praying for their toxic baby mama. Well, they might be praying something happened to her, but they ain't praying that she heal. So I was like, that's very mature of you. That's very big of you. So Ashe, Aho, Adonada. So I want to say a little quote that I heard from 19 Keys this week. And 19 Keys was talking about weak men. I know, isn't this a great? You like this story? I'm gonna have some more stories for y'all as long as I get permission. If I get permission, then I'm gonna tell y'all some more stories. But I want to say, so 19 Keys, right? He spoke about men who are weak, and I want to end with this. So this is the final part here. He said, men who are weak want their women and any women around them to remain weak and dumb. And this is not the ideal partnership because these men who are weak, who want the women around them to be weak, they're afraid to teach these women because they believe that when they teach these women, the women will surpass them on some level. And then the women may not need them anymore. And then eventually she may leave him. So a lot of these men are already competing against women and they may not even know it. So 19 Keys is saying you should teach a woman because ultimately you're going to learn more anyway. And a good quality woman is going to learn something from you, and then she'll know your dreams, she'll know your endeavors and your desires. So the next thing you know, a good woman will be like, hey, babe, you mentioned such and such and you want to do so and so, right? Well, look, I just went and got the paperwork for you and I made all the phone calls. This is what 19 Keys is saying. This is like a good quality woman. A man that is constantly growing is not afraid to share with his woman. He's not afraid for them to grow together, for them to build together, for them to build a legacy together, for them to become a power couple together, a real man. Only weak men want to block women and hold them down, don't teach them anything, and won't accept any of her ideas or anything that she's bringing to the table. So shout out to the brother 19 Keys. I got mad love for that brother. I hope y'all like the story. That's the end of the story. I didn't want to get into details about the spell work because that was that was a traumatic experience. I was just like, Lord have mercy. They tore those women up. And you're right. They brought it on themselves. So what could you do? Right? You get what you deserve when you're looking for it. Real talk. Real talk. So we need to operate better amongst our people. We need to show more love amongst our people because this type of thing. And I said, maybe if they would have just been genuine with approaching him and just be themselves as opposed to resorting to doing spell work on this brother, but you live and you learn. So I think eventually, and the grandmother said this, that eventually the women are going to, one of them, I don't know if it's one of them or both of them, but I know she said certainly one of them is eventually actually going to confess. And I said, well, why would she confess? Looking for forgiveness, because if he forgives her, she believes the spell work that they did on them would stop. I said, whoa, man, these people out here. And I said, but if she confesses and looks for forgiveness, that may not happen. The energy is already out there. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end up, y'all. I don't know if I'm going to see these ladies in June. I know he's going to be there because he told me he's going to be there in June. So I will keep you posted on how he's doing. And if he has that six-pack, well, I wouldn't know if he had the six-pack because then I would be like, But anyway, he's wearing these fitted suits. You ever seen these tailored suits where you can see all the physique in the body and everything? He's wearing those suits. I said, Cindy's like, please keep me updated. I will definitely keep you updated. I will keep you updated, let you know how it go. And the women are not doing so good. I'll keep you a little bit updated. It's just sad to see these women deteriorate in this way. But hey, you get what you asked for. And so what are you going to do? Right? We just got to move on, and that's life, right? So, but anyway, as you can see, I'm going out tonight, so I don't care what nobody says about Valentine's Day, Akoma Day, Love Day. I call it Love Day. So I am going out to dinner, and I do not want to be late. So I hope you guys are loving yourself. I hope you guys are doing a beautiful rose bath. So take some roses, take the rose petals off, put them in the bath, and put in a nice oil. Or you can use, if you have any milk, not cow's milk, another type of milk. If you have any honey, drizzle a little honey in there and play some nice music, light some candles, and love yourself, nurture yourself, and take care of yourself. Always take great care of yourself, guys. So with that said, I'm going to fill my belly up and get something to eat. I will have more stories for you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful night, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.